All right, so on the 2007 Honda Civic, I've got to replace the PCV valve. The PCV valve looks like that right there. This one's nice and clean on the inside, and it works, brand new one. I got to replace the old one with the brand nice new one. So I'm going to show you in here where that's located. Looking at the front of the engine here, you go right back in there. Just turn my light on. Now you see that? You see this green connector right here? I got my finger on. That's just a plastic thing that's holding the ground wire. See, that wire is connected right there. That's just a ground wire, and it's going through here, and it's going back through here to connect somewhere else. It kind of grounds the engine and some of these other parts to the frame. Shut up! My gosh! Every time I come out here, you guys gotta come over here and fuss. Go! Thank you. Oh my gosh! Go! Yeah, go! Don't you go back around that car. Get back over here. Go! Move! Go! Go away! Move! Go! Move! Guinea birds! Go! Move! Thank you. Okay, I'm going to try this again. All right. Right down there, that green thing there, all that does is kind of hold that ground wire to just so that it doesn't sit in here and flap around. So I gotta move that little green connector, and then let me go grab a screwdriver, make it a little easier instead of getting my hand all in the way. I'll use that one there. Okay. So the ground wire is kind of bolted right there, and it runs through this green connector, or like all it does, it's not really a connector, it's just something to hold it in place right there. So we gotta disconnect that and kind of move that over out of the way. And then if you notice this tube back here, you see that tube right there I'm touching? That tube is a rubber tube, and it kind of follows it right around there. You see how I'm just following it there, and it goes underneath where that green thing is that's holding that ground wire, and that goes to the top of. It's kind of hard to get down in there. Let's see if I can get this in there and see it. Am I seeing it? Nope, gotta go down further. Oh well. Okay, gotta turn my phone a different way. Where are you? It's underneath that green thing there. Maybe after I move that green thing I'll see it, but I'm going to see if I can get my hand down in there, and I just got to kind of push that little thing in and kind of pull up on it, I guess, one way or the other. I'm not quite sure exactly how that goes, but let me, I think it's coming straight up. I think you got to push in that little clip and then pull straight up on it. Of course, they're never as easy as they make them out to be, do they? Jeez. Okay. I'll break a fingernail doing that. All right. It's really in a bad spot. Not easy to just get your hand down in there and actually do anything. Can't move. Can't arrange your hand properly. So you just gotta see and mess with it. Probably need to change hands. But anyway, I'm gonna take that little clip that's on there, kind of move it. So, all right. So I'm gonna have to lay the camera down and put my hand down in there. Okay, I got that darn thing off of there. See, it's just a little plastic thing, just to keep that ground wire from flapping around. Let me kind of push that down out of the way. Now, where's that tube go? Okay, let me all right, so I'll put my screwdriver down there so you can see it. So, anyway, the ground wire, there's ground wire going left to right, and then what's that next thing down there is that rubber hose, and that rubber hose kind of turns, and that goes. Got a screwdriver down in there. Okay. I gotta move the camera out of the way just a pinch. There we go. Alright. Focus. Alright, so the screwdriver is touching right there. You can see how that tube comes down on top, and then right there you can see that's the PCV valve. So I got to take that tube off the top of that rubber hose, just pull it off of there. It's probably got a clamp holding it on, which would be a huge pain in the you know what. And then once I get that off there, I can get the socket with the proper size tool with the proper size socket down in there on it, and be able to get that out and then put the new one in. And that's why I said it is a booger pain in the you know what. It's like they design cars to be that way. They don't design them to have a normal human to be able to get down in there and do anything. Alright, so let me see if I can get down in there and get that hose disconnected. Alright, so that right there, you see where that rubber hose is, and this thing right here, you just got to put your finger under it and just give it a good pull, and it disconnects from the other side, and that way you can get that rubber hose out of that and be able to actually move that rubber hose around and get it out of your way, because otherwise it's hard to get to the clamp that's holding the rubber hose onto the PCV valve. Come on, everything's a pain, you know what. That helped a little bit, but not a whole lot, so I got to get down in there. So that'll help kind of move that around so I can get that off of there. I might actually be able to pull it off there without undoing that clamp. And some of them you can, some of them you can't. Alright, so let me try that. So all of those other YouTube videos you watch, they make it look so easy. But anything worth having, worth doing, is worth working for, right? Put in that extra time, figure out what you're doing, right? Don't stress about it. Just get in there, try this. If it doesn't work, try that. If that doesn't work, try something else again. Just keep at it, and eventually you'll get it. But what I'm going to do right now, is I gotta undo that little clip on that hose, kind of, so that I can get that hose up. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this if I can. I tried the needle nose. I couldn't really figure out what I was doing with the needle nose, plus I didn't have room for my hand to operate them. But this one's kind of offset so that I can kind of go from the side and kind of squeeze it from the side that way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it down in there. I just gotta, it's hard to tell exactly where that thing's going, but I'm going to try. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. Yeah, I always zoom in on that one spot, don't I? Alright, so come on. It wants to focus up here for some reason. Focus down now. Alright, so not enough room to actually focus, so I'm gonna, anyway, I've just got to get this just like right there. I think I'm touching it, but I'm gonna put the camera down. There's that extension. I knew I'd find it somewhere. It was sitting in the workshop. Of course, Little Puff had to follow me in because he acts like he's hungry. You hungry, Little Puff? Ooh, look at that. Back this out a little bit. Ain't that pretty? Got a tarp on top. Tarp on top. Alright. Yep. Well, this, I need to take a file to the inside of this a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like somebody had tried to take a hammer and knock it onto something that wasn't fitting very well. So I gotta kind of file some of that down to get it to where it actually fits what it's supposed to fit. Alright. So this being the new one, I needed something that would fit it. So I found this. This fits it. So I'm going to get this in there and I'm going to get that old one off. And the size of this is 11/16. So I'm going to take that 11/16 inch wrench down in there. And it's not a very long one. So it's about as long as my hand. But I think I've got room down in there to maneuver to get that on. What I did was, the hose is sitting right there. I actually cut that hose because I've got little excess hose, and I'll be able to just connect that on the new one that I put on, and do okay. And the reason I did that is because I couldn't get the hose off the old one. So I'm going to go ahead and go down in there. Just going to maneuver that around down in there until I get it on that nut. See if I can break it loose. If not, then I'll take the socket. My problem is I can't always tell what I'm... Oh, there we go. Yeah, I may end up putting the socket down there anyway. Mainly because I can't feel with my hand and hold the camera. Alright, I'm going to have to put the camera down and get busy. If anyone ever tells you that replacing a PCV valve on your Honda Civics is a quick, easy job, don't believe them, because it's not true at all. It's in a spot that's really, really hard to get to. It's really hard to see down in there. And I couldn't exactly do it right because I couldn't get my arms and hands in there. It's like it wasn't designed, it just wasn't designed for a human to work on. Where's my camera? Just wasn't designed for a human to work on. A few things were kind of relocated, and but I got it all back together. It's going to work. I already turned it on. It worked great. Engine sounds better already. Let me show you what the old PCV valve looks like. Right, this thing, can you see that? That is clogged. It is totally freaking clogged. Look how dirty that is. It is clogged. I do that and I can't even hear the thing move on the inside. I ain't putting my mouth on it to blow through it because it is totally clogged. That right there was keeping my engine from running right. And I got that new one in. Whoop, see? Some stuff just knocked out of it when I did that. So, a lot of people say, see, you can see how it knocked a little bit of that out of there, but it's just clogged in there. A lot of people say, just clean them and reuse them. But I'm like, nope, I'm not taking a chance. I want a nice, fresh new one. And that's what I put in my car. It's a nice, fresh new one. So anyway, it was in a tight spot. Real tight spot down in there. You can see it straight down there where that hose that runs through goes straight down there. That's it. It's just in a tight spot, and that spot is not designed for human hands and arms to actually get down in there and do anything. And if you don't have the proper set of tools, it's really going to be a huge pain in the you-know-what. Now, this braided cable is a grounding cable, and it goes around in it. Anyway, it helps ground the engine to the frame of the car. And I double checked it. Everything's okay with it. I will come back later and reattach that green thing to the proper thing that it's supposed to attach to. But I wanted to make sure that this thing worked good before I put it all back together exactly the way I did it. But you can see it nice and pretty shiny. Can't focus on it for some reason. Right down there where that hose goes. And that's it. My car already runs better.